Welcome to the show. Today, we're diving deep into the idea of the Black card as a symbol in the African American community, its cultural weight, and evolution. I'm really excited to get into this. What exactly does having a Black card mean in this context? Well, it's essentially a marker of credibility, authenticity, and belonging in the community. It signifies that someone is not only connected to Black culture, but is actively engaged, from supporting Black businesses to advocating for social justice. It's about being culturally aware, and it goes deeper than just race. Right, so it's like these individuals are seen as trusted insiders. But then doesn't that sometimes create expectations or stereotypes to live up to these roles? Exactly. And that's where the conversation gets really interesting. There are a lot of stereotypes and constricted expectations placed on members of the community. People might assume, for instance, that if you hold a Black card, you're automatically well connected or wealthy, which isn't necessarily true. There's so much nuance behind the term. So, historically speaking, how has this concept evolved? It's like in earlier times, especially during segregation and the civil rights movement, possessing a Black card was about defying oppressive barriers and celebrating resilience. Iconic figures like Martin Luther King Jr. or Rosa Parks, through their sacrifices and achievements, paved the way for this identity marker to symbolize not just personal success, but resistance and solidarity. It was almost a badge of honor in adversity. Interesting. You mean the term has evolved from a literal, metaphorical membership card to something more symbolic of cultural pride? Exactly. Over time, it shifted to represent cultural influence, social media presence, and even the way individuals navigate shared experiences. Social media platforms now amplify these identities, where hashtags and memes celebrate Black excellence, uniting people regardless of background. So, pop culture has basically taken this symbolism, turning it into a sort of badge for authenticity and pride. Right on. And there's also an important element of activism here. Politics and activism have always been intertwined with Black identity, using that Black card status to empower the community, to foster a sense of belonging and resistance against systemic injustices. Activism isn't just a side note, it's integral to the narrative. I get that. But don't you think sometimes these very markers can also pit people against each other? I mean, if someone is seen as not meeting the standard of what a Black card holder should be, does that not create internal conflicts? That's a good point. There's definitely an internal tension where the so-called Black card can become a tool for shaming or exclusion, forcing individuals to conform to a narrow set of cultural norms. Not every Black experience fits neatly into that box, and it can sometimes lead to pressure or even resentment within the community. It's a double-edged sword. And speaking of diverse experiences, the idea of code switching often comes up, a kind of balancing act between different cultural and social spheres. Absolutely. Code switching is that constant adjustment where you might speak one way in a predominantly Black space and switch to standard English in professional settings. This can be exhausting, but is often a survival strategy. It's an ongoing negotiation of identity. That must really impact one's personal growth and sense of authenticity. How do individuals then reconcile these external expectations with their own self-image? Well, the book really emphasizes self-reflection as a means of reclaiming one's identity. It suggests educating oneself on the rich history behind Black culture, celebrating one's roots without succumbing to stereotypes, and actively challenging internalized prejudices. It's about viewing your Black card status as a journey rather than a fixed status. That approach is empowering, fostering personal growth while simultaneously challenging societal constructs. Exactly. And what's more, it calls on our community to support and uplift each other. Whether through mentorship, networking, or simply celebrating each other's achievements, there's a real push for a collective rise. It's like having a community network where every individual's success benefits the whole group. So, in essence, the movement behind this concept is as much about individual empowerment as it is about community solidarity. Precisely. It's a vibrant mix of historical struggles, cultural pride, and modern activism. Think about it. Emerging Black celebrities, entrepreneurs, and influencers use their platforms to redefine what success means beyond traditional measures of wealth. They're reshaping the narrative to include social justice, artistic
Yeah.
expression, and community support.
And then there's the discussion around representation in media and politics.
Yes, representation plays a crucial role. When Black individuals see themselves reflected in literature, film, and leadership positions, it validates their identity. It disrupts stereotypical portrayals and fosters a renewed sense of pride and ambition. That broadened
Right.
representation not only inspires, but also educates people from outside the community.
Absolutely. And it goes hand in hand with empowerment through practical advice, like celebrating one's natural beauty, embracing cultural traditions, and getting involved in activism.
For sure, the suggestions are practical. Educate yourself, celebrate your heritage, understand that your value isn't defined by materialistic achievements alone, but by your cultural pride and your drive to uplift others. It's
Mhm.
like uh, investing in yourself and your community at the same time.
I love that analogy. Now, shifting a bit, what about the personal stories shared in this narrative? There are instances where individuals challenge traditional expectations through their unique journeys.
Yes, personal stories really bring depth. For example, you have accounts of Black women who break into male dominated industries or members of the LGBTQ plus community who negotiate their identities within traditional Black norms. These stories are vital because they illustrate that the Black card is not a one size fits all concept, but a tapestry of diverse experiences.
Yeah. It's refreshing to see how these narratives dismantle outdated stereotypes and invite more inclusive definitions of what it means to be authentically Black.
Totally. And the book doesn't shy away from discussing the complexities of navigating predominantly Black spaces. Sometimes maintaining your authenticity in these communities can mean negotiating cultural expectations and the pressure to perform your Blackness in certain ways. It's a nuanced
Mhm.
challenge indeed.
And that's where the idea of a supportive network really shines. By having safe spaces where one can express every facet of their identity, individuals can find reassurance in their uniqueness.
Exactly. The camaraderie in Black social circles, whether through family, friends, or community groups, enriches the experience. It reinforces that everyone is fighting similar battles and celebrating similar victories. It's a reminder that no
Right.
matter what stereotypes you may face, you're not alone.
Speaking of support, what about practical strategies? Like, how can someone embrace their Black identity confidently in a world that might not always be welcoming?
Great question. First off, self education is key. Understanding your history and cultural roots gives you a strong foundation. Then, actively celebrating Black culture through art, music, literature, even cuisine fortifies your sense of self. And importantly, connecting with mentors and role models who resonate with your values can provide guidance during challenging times. It's
Mhm.
really a holistic approach.
It really sounds like these strategies not only bolster personal pride, but also drive community empowerment by challenging stereotypes and embracing a multifaceted identity.
Spot on. It's this blend of individual growth and communal activism that gives the Black card its evolving meaning. Whether it's through online activism or in person solidarity, the goal is to uplift and inspire every member of the community.
Yeah. And there's something very powerful about reclaiming a term like Black Card from its stereotypical confines into a celebration of deep cultural identity.
Absolutely. It's like turning a presumed limitation into a strength. By redefining the concept, you say, "This is who I am, and I'm proud of it." It's a powerful act of self affirmation and resistance against narrow cultural
Right.
boxes.
I really appreciate that perspective. It challenges us to look critically at both societal expectations and our own internalized views, doesn't it?
It does, and it inspires a crucial dialogue, one that calls for introspection, acceptance, and the celebration of diversity. The journey of owning your Black card is ongoing, and it's as much about personal reflection as it is about communal upliftment.
All in all, this conversation really underscores that the Black Card isn't just a status symbol, it's a dynamic emblem of identity, resilience, and empowerment within the Black community.
Precisely. And by embracing this layered identity, each person contributes to a broader narrative that honors the past while forging a more inclusive future. Thanks for unpacking this with me. It's been an engaging journey.
Absolutely. Thanks for leading such a thoughtful discussion. It really leaves us with plenty to reflect on as we navigate our own paths of identity and empowerment.